Prince Harry's cold-blooded Christmas present from a royal family member that made him feel bad. Welcome to Royal Cupcake. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell, so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming Royal Cupcake. This was not Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's first royal Christmas together. But when Harry was younger, he remembered getting a gift from a cousin at Sandringham that he called cold-blooded. It's been a long time since Prince Harry spent Christmas with his family in the usual way. Because Rocky is linked to members of the firm, he has spent the holidays with his wife Meghan Markle in North America for the past 5 years. This year was no different. On the other hand, Harry used to be a regular at the royal Christmas celebrations and take part in all the routines. Because the royal family has such a great life, they rarely lack anything. This is actually something that the royal family does every year for Christmas. They buy each other small, cheap, joke gifts. But Harry seems to have been confused by a gift he got from a royal cousin he didn't expect. He even called it cold-blooded. In his autobiography, Spare, Harry talks about his great-aunt, Princess Margaret, who was the late Queen's sister. He calls her Aunt Margot, and says he didn't know her very well even though they share 12.5% of DNA. He writes that Margaret gave him a strange gift on Christmas Eve at Sandringham Estate, just as everyone was getting ready to open their presents. It was a tiny biro with a rubber fish wrapped around it. He remembers, I chose to open the smallest present first when I stood in front of my pile. From Aunt Margot, was written on the tag. Thank you, Aunt Margot. I called out as I looked over. Harry says he was surprised when he opened the gift and thanked Margaret. Margaret told him it wasn't just any biro, but a special one. She pointed out that it wasn't just any biro. A little rubber fish was wrapped around it. I replied, oh. A fish biro. Okay. That is cold-blooded, I told myself. During his childhood, Harry also writes in his book that he and Margaret should have been friends because they were two spares and shared many traits. In her memoir, she writes, her relationship with Granny wasn't an exact copy of mine with Willie, but it was pretty close. It looked like they had been through this before, the growing rivalry and the fierce competition, which was mostly caused by the bigger sibling. Aunt Margot wasn't all that different from Mummy either. Both were rebels and were called sirens. Prince William and Harry have had a rough relationship for a long time, even though they were close when they were kids. The fight is said to have started before Harry's wedding to the Duchess of Sussex, a former Suits star. The Duke said that William was rude to his wife. But things got worse after Harry made public claims against his brother in both his memoir, Spare, and his Netflix documentary. In his book, which came out a few months after the death of Queen Elizabeth II, Harry said that William had hit him and pushed him into a dog bowl over Meghan. In their Netflix show, which came out 2 months after the Queen died, Harry and Meghan said Kensington Palace lied to protect William when it denied a story that he had pushed Harry out of the royal family. He also wrote that Charles begged his 2 sons, "Please, boys," during a tense meeting at Windsor right after the funeral of Prince Philip, the late Duke of Edinburgh. "Don't make my last years miserable."